All right, welcome back, everyone. We are talking about the battle over Indian Point. There's always back and forth on this issue, but it's coming to a head because the license renewal for the nuclear power plant is coming up. And while everyone uses the year 2013, it really could be beyond that. But rather than get lost in the weeds on this, I want to bring back our guests. And Paul, I'll start with you. Is the bar for renewal pretty low in terms of what you guys have to show to be able to keep your license operating?
Now, Indian Point has already undergone scrutiny for 5.5 years from the NRC for safety and other evaluations. It's been found to be a safe plant. It's going through the ASLB process that Phil's group, is involved in, and they're spending a lot of time taking into account a lot of different issues that come into play here. Indian Point has put a lot of money, a lot of time into the license renewal process. Things are being heard out by the NRC and the ASLB. The decision's going to be, still has quite a ways to go. It's going to be very thorough. It's going to be very judicious.
There's precedent that if a plant, the scope of Indian Point was shut down, it would change the whole dialogue nationally over nuclear power. It's unlikely that it's not going to get relicensed. Am I right?
I would disagree. I think we have a strong case against relicensing. We also have a very strong case in state court. It's an administrative proceeding now, but New York State has denied a critical Clean Water Act permit that Entergy needs in order to get relicensed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And Entergy has challenged that decision, and that's in hearings now with the state.
For this moment, for this conversation, so take water out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, it doesn't matter what the county executive says, doesn't matter what the governor says, doesn't matter what the public says. The NRC, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, and obviously in our nation's capital is going to make a decision what's in the best interest of this area and for nuclear power as a whole. So,
well, they won't
are we in many ways, isn't the general public getting excised over something that they really in the end won't influence?
I don't see it that way. No, I think that if you look at this case in particular, this is the largest opposition to relicensing that has occurred to date. This is the first case where the state of New York and the Attorney General of the same state are actively opposing relicensing. And in fact, the Atomic Safety and Licensing Board, which Paul mentioned, has already ruled against Entergy on one of the issues in this case. It happened prior to the hearing beginning. And so as it stands today, Indian Point cannot get its license renewed.
Is there any possibility that you can have a nuclear power plant that is either run or have different standards that would fit your threshold and other environmentalists who have legitimate concerns about the plant to say, you can have nuclear energy and it be safe? Is there a way to have it all?
I don't believe there is for this location. I think that no matter how safely you run the plant, you will always have the risk of an accident. This is, human beings run these plants, human beings design them. Even if the risk is low, the consequences of an accident, as we've seen at Fukushima in Japan, where we thought they ran the safest plants in the world, the consequences could be catastrophic.
And I know you don't agree on the rationale, but do you agree that there won't be middle ground here?
If I can just finish very briefly. The fact is, if we don't need the power, there's no reason we should take the risk, no matter how low.
We do need the power. We categorically do need the power. Philip mentioned that they're optimistic in their case against Riverkeeper. I'll point out the proposal that against Entergy. I'll point out the state of New York, which unveiled an energy highway yesterday. It is a rough outline. It is a plan. It has a lot of things in there that New York area believes are important to the state, additional generation, additional transmission lines. But it is a very long way away from being implemented here, and that is far less certain than Indian Point getting its license renewal. We all do planning in life. I plan to send my 11-year-old son to college so he gets a great job when he graduates. I expect that that will happen before most of the elements of the energy plan are implemented, and hopefully many of them will be very soon. But you have to deal with the reality of what you have here, and the reality is that nuclear power has been incredibly safe in the United States. No one has ever died a radiological-related death in 50 years of commercial nuclear plant operation. Coal power, which is all but extinct in New York State at this point, kills 30,000 people a year as a result of the generation that takes place. That is much less safe than
To
nuclear.
wrap me up on time here, but guys, can we agree at least on this? 2013 may be a deadline that's out there, but it's not an actual one. This thing between the legal challenge, et cetera, is going to go well beyond that.
It will, and in fact, Entergy is able to operate the plant past 2013 while the decision is still being made and considered here.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to take a couple of
Consensus.
years. We've agreed on something.
It took me a while, but I got there. Phillip, Paul, guys, thank you so much.
you,
I
Mike.
appreciate it. Obviously, an issue we will be coming back to. We're going to take a quick commercial break, more RFL when we return. Stay with us.